Anyway, hello everybody. This is something a bit weird I'm going to try. I'm not really sure how it's going to go down. I started playing Minecraft for a little bit after I got home from Christmas, which is very nice. And yeah, so I decided that I would do the Steven Universe mod, because I've not done that in a little while, and I thought I'd like to see what had been added. And with the recent slew of Steven Universe episodes, I'm in a very, very homeworldy mood. Very much feeling tyranny and ruling over planets and that kind of thing. Very much in that kind of mood. And I've tried to do things like this in the past. I've never recorded them, mind you.
No shit, Sherlock!
But yeah, they've always been a little bit lackluster. Just for little bits and bobs, just things like gems not quite working how I'd want them to, not being able to assign jobs, that kind of thing. Games that I should just play a 4x for, but I'm asking it out of Minecraft because I like gems. So yeah, so what we've done is I have skipped ahead a little bit, and all I'm going to do is start my first kindergarten, I think. So I've kind of cut out the beginning sort of vanilla bits, where I've made my little base, and I've gone to the nether, and I've made a little blaze farm, so I can actually make these bloody things. And so we're going to make it up this kindergarten. So I already have a couple of gems here, so we've got a nice little peridot. She will tell us what kind of gems we're going to find. Nephrites, we've already got a couple of nephrites. And I've got a couple of citrines that I made at some point. So yeah, got a nice little bodyguard. We've got a few jaspers bumming around back at the base, a couple of nephrites, and another couple of peridots, I think. The gem I'm most hoping to find, I think, is a mother of pearl, which, using the expansion for the mod that I've got, is the only way to get pearls. And you need pearls to start assigning quartz as jobs. So that's going to be our first task. Here we have a lovely little gem injector. I say lovely, really. It's going to, you know, kind of majorly screw over the planet to do what it has to do, but that's fine. So if anyone's not seen, I don't know why you'd be watching this if you haven't seen Steven Universe, or actually my editor, who probably doesn't get any of this, he might know some bits. Basically, gems are artificial life forms. They're kind of like self-replicating machines. That's kind of the easiest way to explain it. They have this like little gemstone. I'll poof one now just to show you. They have this little gemstone, and that's them. That's like their brain and everything. That's like the nucleus of a cell, if you know about that. And that holds all the information for coding what the gem's going to look like. And I think the way it's described in the show is they're like holograms, but they have mass. So they can punch things, they can move around, they can carry things. So yeah, they're not just light, which would be horribly unuseful. And the way that they get produced, because obviously they're quite inorganic, they have to make these injectors, which inject some kind of goop that I don't think the show's really expanded on as of yet. You know, that will harness either biological life or maybe synthetic life. I don't think they've ever specifically stated which. But it will inject some kind of goop into the earth, and then that will make gemstones that will, after a couple of 100 years, emerge from the earth. Or whatever planet. Planetoid, asteroid maybe. And yeah. And then, depending on what they absorbed, it will depend on the quality of the gem and the type of gem it comes out. So obviously, if a gem gets injected near some lapis lazuli, it's quite likely that's going to come out as a quite strong lapis lazuli. So yeah, I'm not really sure what we're hoping for here. Peridot tells me there are nephrites, but that doesn't really tell me where they're going to get injected. It's a bit of a pain in the bottom. Nephrites aren't exactly what I'm looking for, but any gem's a step in the right direction. So this series might be a little bit ambitious. I don't know if I'm going to stick with it or if I'm going to get bored, which is generally what happens with games. But the general idea, I think, is to create maybe 4 different colonies, maybe inspired by each of the diamonds. So this primary base eventually is going to become quite white diamond themed, as you might imagine by the white palanquin. So yeah, not really any idea how I'm going to make the others, outside of maybe murals and things like that. It'd be helpful if we'd seen any of kind of what white diamond ship looks like really outside of it being white. But that doesn't matter. I can kind of take it into my own hands and do what I like with it. Obviously it's going to be very Minecrafty, because I'm not going to spend 14 million years bloody mining quartz out of the nether and getting blown up every 30 seconds, because bugger that. Anyway, let's make a start. So in order to make these gem bases, you have to use blaze powder and glowstone, all these expensive things, which is quite nice. It makes it quite Minecrafty and quite endgamey, which is kind of what this is. So I'll fill this up with some active gem bases, and then this, over time, will pick out very good locations for the gem to be implanted, and then it will bung one there. And then after a little bit of time, I think it is random how long it takes. It's a bit like growing a crop. The gem will burst out of the earth, and then we'll be able to find out what we have. Now it's quite handy that I've got Peridot here with me, because she can give me a decent idea of what kind of gems I'm going to get. They're not accurate 100% of the time, at least in my experience, maybe I'm using them wrong. So we're going to nip down here. Thought I'd built a little stairway down here, but obviously not. Maybe I'd intended to. Come on, Peridot. Peridot, come on now. Come on now, you piece of shit. Come on. Oh, pain in the ass. I don't believe this is an off-color Peridot. Come on, Perry. There we go. So yeah, she stands at about 2 blocks tall, so that's about right for a proper Peridot. Ooh, so a gem might get injected down there, maybe. So yeah, kindergartening is quite interesting. I think it's there's nothing in kind of sci-fi fiction quite like it, I don't think, or there's not something that quite approaches it in exactly the same way. I'll make a step way up while I'm doing this, while I'm just mumbling about aliens and shit. So yeah, I've always quite liked very different ways of species reproducing. I think the first one that I really liked was Alien, which everyone must know about by now. With the kind of multi-stage life cycle with many casts. With the first sort of being like you've got this egg that's pretty much immortal unless you set it on fire or you kill it. I think the point is it's like a stasis pod, and it could like live for indefinitely through space. And then you've got kind of the parasitic kind of facehugger stage, and that's really interesting because like it's no one's quite sure how it works, but I think its basic gist is that like it merges pure xenomorph DNA with whatever the host is to create a life form that's stronger than the host. So if it starts infecting whatever the primary species is, so say if it was on Earth, it starts affecting humans, all of a sudden it's producing a life form that is just all around better than humans, outside of maybe intelligence, but that's a hive mind thing, I'll discuss that later. And then, yeah, so you've kind of got your chest burster, which is like a really horrific thing, which is awesome, like who in their right mind comes up with something like that? And then you've got, obviously, like your queens, which are just awesome, and like, if you know me, you know, in any kind of sci-fi, I love my big bugs. In my Warhammers, I like my hive tyrants, I like my alien queens, I like, I've not seen Starship Troopers, but I love the design for the bugs in that. They look cool as hell. They're really, really cool. Yeah. And like the, oh, what was it called? It was in one of the Star Wars movies. Was it Acklay? It's like a big sort of mantis thing. It was a bit ugly, and a bit grim. But yeah, that was quite cool. Ooh, you've moved around a bit, have you? Have you injected all of your things? No, not yet. 4 more gems to him. Oh, he's been busy. Interesting. Ooh, looks like we've got a couple of emergents already. Let's leave Peridot up here for now, and we shall go and investigate. So yeah, big bugs in fiction, I always quite like those. Anything that's like fast evolving, or it's got a really interesting like reproduction cycle, I always quite like stuff like that. And that kind of brings me on to gems. They're kind of like, I've never really been a big fan of artificial life forms until sort of, ooh, a couple of nephrite. Not super what I'm after, but that will do fine. Just kind of hoping for something else. So yeah, the way that these guys work is obviously they take nutrients from the world, and that leaves you with these hard to remove drained blocks. So if you are gonna muck about with making as many gems as I'm planning to make, you might want to take it kind of far away from your base, unless you like the look of it, which I kind of do. Like every Minecraft world that I tend to play on, I tend to try and quite preserve the nature. I might use this as an excuse to just go a bit nuts and ooh, pyrite, fool's gold, I think that's the name I know it as. So pyrite, I believe, is a bit like ruby from the show. It's kind of just this little gem, not too bright. They're quite easy to get a hold of. They pack a little bit of a punch. It's kind of a solid soldier that I think can fuse. I don't think I have any members of my court that can fuse yet, which is interesting. That's another thing that I like. I think I'll talk about that later. No, sorry, let's talk about it now. So fusion is it's in a lot of things. I don't know what did it first. Maybe Dragon Ball, maybe like Voltron, Super Sentai, Power Rangers, that kind of thing. Maybe that did it first. I don't know. But I love the concept of combining two characters that you love and either. I don't know if I like the idea of them making a new person or them having to like get over the fact that they don't like each other to kind of work together. And I also quite like the not quite knowing what they'll turn into, like especially with the Steven Universe fusions. You know, you've got your two gems, and you know the fusion's going to look something along the lines of both of them, but you can never be quite sure what they're going to turn into. And sometimes it's quite a pleasant surprise when they pop out. Oh, there's going to be a lot of Nephrite. Maybe I should have gone somewhere else. Lara Nephrite. Ooh, Mother of Pearl. Perfect. That's exactly what we were after. It looks like they've popped out just here. Wonderful. That's just what we were after. Oh, that makes up for all the bloody Nephrites. Where's the other Mother of Pearl? Is she a little bit out of the way? Let's build around to it. Is she a bit stuck there? I think she's a little bit stuck. Come on, Mother of Pearl. So, yeah. So, Mother of Pearls, I don't think they are in the Steven Universe, like canon per se, but there's an extension kind of mod that added some other bits and bobs, and I quite like the concept of the Mother of Pearl in that. So I think the idea with these is they are made of the same material that is the inside of clamshells. And, oh dear, you're a bit stuck in there, aren't you, dear? Because you've got that gravel in the way. Oh, I can break this. And then can you walk out? Come along, Pearl. So the idea is that throughout their life they will generate pearls as they go. They will like gather material. They will gather minerals as they plod along. They'll eat biological matter, and they will eventually start producing pearls, which are very useful. So in the show they are usually like servant gems. Maybe slaves, I'm not really sure. Like, the sort of high-class pearls tend to be, that seem like quite busy, but they're not like abused. They seem more like kind of like a butler or something you'd see in like a kind of like, I don't know, Downton Abbey or something like that. But I quite like the designs of pearls. You know, they're supposed to be quite elegant and seen but not heard, probably, is a good way to describe them, which I don't like in concept, but it does mean that they usually look quite impressive. Ooh, here we go. So that Mother of Pearl is eating away at some dirt. So I believe they have like a monthly cycle or something, where eventually the shell on her head will break and she'll start producing, and she'll produce some baby pearls, I think. They're like small pearls, and then they will grow on their own time and will eventually become normal-sized pearls, and then I can start using them for jobs and stuff. Now, one gem I would really, really like is an agate of some kind. Now, agates in the Steven Universe canon are usually... Oh, that's some lightning. Have I got an amethyst? Oh, what on earth is that? Ooh, that's interesting. I don't think I've seen that before. Maybe some homeworld ships flying by to check on me. Who knows? Ooh, lots of purple over here. Oh, hello, zombies. Oh, Nephrite, why are you so out of the way? Oh well, I'll come back and fetch it in the morning. And as you can tell, I got a little bit excited and didn't gear myself up to start recording this. So do excuse my horrible inventory management just for 10 minutes while I... Are there any weapons that aren't broken? Oh, well. No, apparently not. My gem staff is out there. Oh, that'll do. An axe will do fine. Note to self. Take gems wherever you go, and if you don't, gear yourself up and bring a bloody sword, for goodness sake. So yeah, the general gist, I'm not quite sure what I want my my court to look like. Like, I have a general idea, so I know I want like some quartzes or something like that to kind of be bodyguards. And I know I don't want at least a pearl that'll be like my pearl that will follow me around and be like, because I think they're basically like a double chest that'll follow you around, which is very, very helpful. Paradox, one is enough, I think. I don't think there's any bonus to having more than just the one. I think they're quite common. But I don't mind having them around. They're pretty sturdy and they're pretty funky. And they're very cute. And they grumble a lot. Ooh. Is that... oh, we've had a couple more mother of pearls, have we? Where's my gem staff? There we go. Do I own you? Oh, I did. I certainly did. Ooh, there's a nephrite. You now serve me. That's good. Good. Where's this mother of pearl? There she is. She now serves me. That's very good. Ooh. Now, you will notice that. Ooh, what on earth is that? Oh, I think that's an agate. It's looks might be off colour though, but I think that's fine. Anyway, there was a ruby-sized fellow over here somewhere. There he is. So you might notice that some of the textures are a bit fucked. I'm not sure why that's happened, but it has. Right. Oh, there's another mother of pearl up there. God, I'm all over the blue shop. You know, I was kind of worried I wasn't going to get one, and now I own about 5, which is fine, but not ideal. But I don't mind. Don't mind at all. They're very pretty gems, regardless, so that they can. Where did you go, and what did you kill? Now, sweet mother o' pearl, up on high. There we go. She'll follow me. So there's an agate up there, and is there another another nephrite down here? Another nephrite, good-o. What are you? Oh, you're another nephrite. Plenty of nephrites. Oh dear, there we go. Come on, there we go. Alright, let's get you back on top of the hill, shall we? Then we can assess who else we need to get. So it might be easy to dig towards. Oh no, actually, it's going to be easy to build towards them, I think. Oh, there's my enchanted sword. Best not lose that. That would be kind of bad. Now, Enderman, I don't really need to kill you right now. Oh, well, doesn't look like I get a choice in the matter. Maybe poison. That's suboptimal nephrites. Please don't do that to me. Alright, come along. Now, if there is some weirdness with this world, it's not my fault, I promise. Every now and again, I'm not sure why this happens, I've never had it on any other world, but like an old inventory save will appear. Like, I will just spawn somewhere that I've definitely been before, where I've quit before, but definitely not that time, and I'll have like my old inventory. So, like, I'm missing some things that I really could do with still having, but I have repeats of like this enchanted armor that are like exactly the same, which I haven't the heart to get rid of. Right, so who's still following me up here? Just you? Any other nephrites? So how many mother of pearl have we got now? We've got the 1, 2. Gotta have more than 2. Well, maybe I just have 2, and they were just following me around the whole time. Could have sworn we had a 3rd. 2 is more than enough, regardless. Because look at them chowing down. I think that's pretty much how that works in real life. I'm not sure. I guess they like clams would filter nutrients out of the ocean. I like the ocean water that's going past them, and then that gets turned to like a stone. So I guess it's pretty much what's happening there, but like on a sort of industrial scale. But yeah, I'm not sure what the turnaround is for getting pearls. But it'll be fun finding out. Where's my other mother of pearl gone now? Oh, for goodness sake. I've already lost at least one mother of pearl. Oh no, she's down there. Silly me. Right. So there are a few gems hanging out around here. Now, can I dig at this moss agate, or is she going to be... Yeah, it looks like she's going to be surrounded by these drained blocks. Alright, I'll build around too, that shouldn't be a problem. So now agates, they are going to be very useful for me because they will stop my arm kind of normal sort of grunty... oh dear, this is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass, isn't it? I think, I'm not sure if it's all gems or just soldier gems, but they stop them wandering around as much and getting lost. Which isn't a huge issue, because I'm sure at some point you'll see one of my gems get poofed, because I just neglect to keep tabs on them all. Whoa! A rhodonite? So this is a fusion, but I'm not sure how I feel about fusions in my court. I don't know if I can trust a gem that's fused. Well, unfuse you for now. Oh, I see, so this is where the Mother of Pearl ended up. Well... just don't do it again. You kept her safe, and that was your job. But don't fuse with her again. No fusion. Maybe later. I don't know how I feel about it right now. Oh, I guess this is why the Mother of Pearl didn't come up, is it? Because she couldn't fit in this bloody tree. Is that right? Nope. She just seems to be taking a totally different way around. Right, come on, Ruby. Ruby, 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 Ruby. Now fusions, I don't think that they're inherently bad. Within this mod at least. And they're certainly not within the show, it's very much encouraged. It's all about, you should be able to have a relationship with who you want a relationship with. And that's kind of what fusion is. It's not like Dragon Ball fusion, where like, you've got a really strong foe and, you know, combining your bodies is the only way you're going to be able to overpower them. Fusion Steven Universe is a bit more... I want to say like symbolic, but there's a lot more meaning to it. You know, for gems to be able to fuse, they have to kind of totally understand each other, they've got to totally respect each other, or to have a healthy fusion at least. They've got to like respect each other, they've got to be totally in sync, they've got to have kind of the same goals. And yeah, which it isn't that complicated in this mod. I think it is just the case of if a gem gets harmed, then a ruby will jump in and will fuse with them. Which... I don't think I'm petty enough to go around and stop every bloody fusion that happens, but I do need my Mother of Pearls. At least for now. Another moss agate, but how on earth have you gotten in there? You are well and truly stuck, my lad. God, I can't even... Can I even get LOS in there? No. I'm not sure how I'm going to get at you. Yeah, you're surrounded by purple. Well now, let's hope that's not a reoccurring issue. I might be able to get at it with a decent shovel or something. The diamond picks at least can dig at the... but another... Oh no, it's the same moss agate. There is one up here that I think I'll be able to get at. Now, there is a rebellion mechanic in this, which is quite cool. I didn't think... You know, people would want to have something like that, so it sounds like a bollock. I believe the gist is that every gem has like a random chance of at some point becoming rebellious, and it will stop following orders from you and will it might attack you on sight. I feel like that's a bit much. Yeah, if I haven't attacked it first. Not that that matters. Oh no, I think it is that. Oh no, it might. Yeah, I think that's off color. I'll get to off colors in a minute. I think the gist... What was I bloody on about? I keep saying what's the gist as well. That's really irritating. That's like a space filler. I don't like it. I'll try and get out of the habit of that. I'm sure people listening, if anyone is in fact listening, does not want to hear me saying that over and over again. Because that would be a bloody nightmare. Anyway. Gem fusions. Rebellions. We're talking about rebellions. So of course, one of the main plot points in the show is that the main characters, the crystal gems, were rebels from their homeworld. They didn't want to conform anymore, they abandoned their old ways, and decided to live on Earth how they wanted to, which of course should be encouraged. Everyone should be able to live the way that they want to, as long as they're not hurting anybody. Oh, the pyrites down there, spawning around. So yeah, agates. No, not agates, off-colours. So off-colors can happen when there aren't quite enough resources to make a gem. So maybe if she'd emerged first, she could have like absorbed more of the materials and could have been fully sized. So normally agates would be about the same size, if not a little bit taller, I think, than a citrine. Whereas, as you can see, she's about half a block shorter, which I think basically means she just has less health. I think she can still perform her job perfectly well. And since I've got nothing else, I've not got a full-sized agate to replace her with. There's no point. I may as well keep her around. On Homeworld, it's not particularly clear if they tolerate off colours per se. Like they tolerate defective gems to an extent. So as you'll see with Peridot very early on in the show, I think season 2-ish, she has like limb enhancers because she came out defective. She either didn't absorb enough materials when she was growing, or she stayed in the ground too long in the case of Amethyst, and so they had to have limb enhancers to get them up to the right height. Now whether that's just for just so she conforms with other Peridots, or if that's a functional thing, like Peridots need to be this height to be useful, is kind of unclear. But the limb enhancers give her plenty of power-ups and stuff, so she's still very much valued. But it's unclear as to whether like Homeworld would prefer to not have them, which I mean kind of makes sense. But you know, you'd feel like you'd rather make use of every gem that you've got. Every gem, there must be a job that every gem can do. You know, it might just take a while to find it. Phospholite, I know you're out there. Oh, poor first arc Phospholite. She was lovely. That is, oh god, what's that bloody anime called? I've been raving about it like the past day. Zach will know what I mean. Big Zach, he'll know. And if he doesn't, he can text me and I'll tell him when I can Google it. Yeah, that was quite an interesting anime, but the similar sort of concept as like humanoid life forms that are gem based, but very, very kind of different interpretation of it, which is quite nice. But I might talk about that some other time. I'm not going to talk about that now. So yeah, I think we shall end it off there. There might be 10 minutes of charge that can get cut, and that's fine. So we've got an arseload of nephrites, a couple of mother of pearls, which is exactly what I wanted. Butt ton of nephrite, a pyrite, a type of ruby, which I think is the second type of that ruby that I've got. We've had a fusion happen off screen, unfortunately, which is kind of a shame. I think I can tell gems to fuse, and there might come a time when I can get a good look at some of the cooler fusions going on. We've got ourselves an agate, which is exactly what I wanted. I wanted more than one ideally, which I think we've got a second one down here, but I'm going to have to figure out how on earth I'm going to get it out of there. And there's also a nephrite still in there. So yeah, next time I think I will take these guys back to base. I'll start organising them a little bit. I might poof them all, put them all in chests, and then deploy what I need to deploy. I will work on a plan to get the second agate out, because she's going to be integral to my next part of my plan. And also, I'm going to have to find a way to safely keep these mothers of pearl, because they're very, very defenseless. You know, even though they look quite big and quite menacing, they're pretty defenseless. They don't hit very hard, if they hit at all, which is one of the reasons that Ruby's confused with them. But obviously fusing means that they can't do their normal job because they become a rhodonite. So we'll have to find some way of keeping them both safe and also within range of plenty of organic blocks. So yeah, until next time, sayonara, bitches.